Free Durk!
Word.
Free Durk!
Free.
Heard what I said?
Free Durk.
Durk's fans didn't just call out NBA YoungBoy. They wanted his head during his own concert. This wasn't some random crowd meltdown. It was the internet spilling over into real life. Everything kicked off after a viral clip exploded across X and YouTube, supposedly showing NBA YoungBoy getting way too close with Lil Durk's girl, India Royale. By mid-October 2025, the drama had turned into a full-on digital war, pulling over 170,000 views in just hours, with fans losing their minds trying to find this so-called footage. The tension between NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden out of Baton Rouge, and Lil Durk, born Dirk Derek Banks from Chicago, runs deep. We're talking 5 years of smoke that's left bodies, indictments, and canceled tours in its wake. So when fans heard a rumor that YoungBoy was caught making out with Durk's longtime on and off girlfriend, it felt like another bomb dropped on hip-hop's longest-running rivalry. But here's the twist. That viral footage wasn't even real. The clip that had social media burning was a skit. Some random comedy video about a dude who bought backstage passes for his girl to see NBA YoungBoy, only for her to send the most savage text back, hinting she might have linked with the rapper himself. The clip went crazy, stacking over 1,000 likes and 169,000 views by October 16th. Fans reposted it like it was evidence, shouting things like, "Ain't no way she did bro like that," while tossing in skull and crying emojis for extra drama.
Album's dropping this week, and it seems like the antics are back.
What's dropping?
Durk's Almost Healed is dropping.
Okay.
The internet ate it up. One post from Daily Loud alone hit 172,000 views, showing the girlfriend acting cold and dismissive while YoungBoy's music played in the background. The whole thing was shot like heartbreak comedy. But it struck a nerve because it blurred the line between fiction and real beef. NBA YoungBoy already got that reputation as the guy who can take anybody's girl, and the meme played right into that image. This wasn't just viral bait, it was genius chaos. It combined the YoungBoy versus Durk war, the rapper's 2025 comeback tour, and that universal relationship betrayal humor that always sends social media into meltdown. Fans were convinced it was real, searching phrases like NBA YoungBoy India Royale backstage footage across every platform. But guess what? Zero legit clips exist. No videos, no photos, nothing. Still, algorithms don't care about the truth. They care about engagement. The fake clip stayed trending for days because it had all the ingredients. Two feuding rappers, relationship drama, and just enough believability to light the internet on fire. The idea that Durk's girl might have switched sides with his biggest rival was enough to make fans rage, laugh, and argue for hours online. By the time the real footage from YoungBoy's September 30th, 2025 show in New Jersey dropped, fans were already on edge. The energy was so wild that when one fan started screaming Durk's name mid-concert, chaos broke out instantly. Security rushed in, the crowd split, and people swore it looked like a riot brewing right in front of the stage. YoungBoy himself stopped mid-song, glaring at the commotion as fans shouted things that could have easily turned violent. This wasn't just another night on tour. It was proof that this beef lives way beyond the mic. Every post, every lyric, every fake clip keeps this rivalry alive, and when the streets of the internet collide with real-life crowds, things can spiral fast. And this was just the beginning, because what went down next would shock even the most die-hard fans.
Told us he was healed.
And YoungBoy is dropping a project called Richest Op, also dropping on Friday.
The second that fan yelled "Free Smirk" at NBA YoungBoy's concert, all hell broke loose. It wasn't just noise, it was war energy. The crowd flipped, and within seconds, chaos exploded right in front of the stage. YoungBoy's crew, including Lil Tim, yeah, the same dude connected to King Von's death back in 2020, charged at the fan, and fists started flying like it was a street fight on stage.
YoungBoy, after NBA YoungBoy said, "I will not start beef with anyone, I am a changed man."
The viral YouTube clip titled "Fight Erupts at NBA YoungBoy Concert," Lil Tim and YB's crew jump, fan yelling "Free Smirk" hit over 500,000 views within days. The video didn't just show drama, It exposed how real and dangerous this feud still is. See, screaming free smirk at a YoungBoy concert isn't just reckless, it's a straight-up act of disrespect. Everybody knows the tension between these camps runs deep. This beef's not just rap, it's blood, loss, and years of animosity. So when that fan decided to shout out Lil Durk's name in front of YoungBoy's people, it wasn't about music anymore. It was about allegiance, pride, and who you stand. Within this long-running war, fans in 2025 have turned this feud into a tribe mentality, picking sides like it's a battlefield. YoungBoy's September 7th, 2025. Houston concert was already intense before the brawl even happened. He closed the night with direct disses at Lil Durk, captured in a YouTube short that blew up within hours. People were watching his every move, analyzing every lyric for hidden shots. The whole tour became a live documentary of hate and retaliation, with fans waiting to see if something major would pop off next. Things got so real that Durk's Chicago concert, set for September 24th, 2025, got canceled. Officials shut it down, saying the risk of violence was just too high. Imagine that. An entire United Center show pulled because the city feared actual bloodshed.
Talk about it. Going at Durk, going at India, going at Ack.
Pretty much you got at my guy, Ack.
Chicago authorities weren't about to gamble with more tragedy, especially considering how gun violence already runs through the city like wildfire. Losing that show meant major money down the drain, but nobody was willing to see history repeat itself. Even King Von's sister, Kayla B, had to step in, begging fans online to stop wilding out over the drama. She reminded everyone this feud already cost her family dearly. Her words hit hard. She said she didn't want to see more lives lost because fans couldn't separate street beef from streaming beef. Y'all don't even know these people personally, she warned. Stop crashing out over something. That ain't your war.
Ack said on YouTube that beef was squashed, and it wasn't squashed.
And he told Ack, nigga, I'll kill you.
Yeah, mind your little fat bitch.
Her plea showed how deep the emotional scars from Von's death still run, even years later. Then came October 16th, 2025, in Atlanta. Another night that added fuel to the fire. NBA YoungBoy performed his infamous diss track, I Hate YoungBoy, live, going straight at Lil Durk, India Royale, King Von, Gucci Mane, and Lil Baby, and who was right there beside him on stage? Lul Tim. The crowd lost it. It was one of the most disrespectful moves YoungBoy could have made, standing next to the man tied to Von's killing while performing a song dissing Von's name. Fans screamed, every word, chanting along like it was an anthem of defiance. That moment made it clear, YoungBoy wasn't backing down, not 1 inch. And while all this drama was unfolding, the competition wasn't just about lyrics, it was business too. When Lil Durk dropped Almost Healed and YoungBoy released Richest Op on the same day back in May 2023, it wasn't coincidence, it was a showdown. Both rappers wanted to dominate the charts, the streams, and the streets. The album titles said it all. Durk trying to move past pain, and YoungBoy doubling down on being the richest opposition. The name Richest Op itself was a statement, a flex, a threat, and a declaration that YoungBoy saw himself as the ultimate rival, not just musically but financially too. This isn't just rap beef, it's a full-blown cultural war, where words, wealth, and wounds all collide on and off the stage. And with every concert, every viral clip, and every fan caught in the crossfire, it's clear this battle's far from over. NBA YoungBoy once said he was done with the drama, that he wanted peace, growth, and a new chapter. But every time he preaches change, it somehow circles back to chaos. Fans have seen this pattern too many times. YoungBoy makes public promises to chill, then dives right back into the smoke. It's almost like he's trapped in a loop of his own making, torn between evolution and the streets that made him. To understand how we got here, you gotta rewind to the roots of this deadly rivalry. The NBA YoungBoy versus Lil Durk beef didn't just pop up overnight. It's been simmering since 2017. Back then, both artists were climbing fast, representing two powerful cities with two completely different sounds. YoungBoy carried the raw, aggressive energy of Baton Rouge, while Durk was the voice of Chicago's drill scene, the city where drill rap was born. Both were street certified, both had deep followings, and both were fighting for dominance in the same rap landscape. It was competition at first, subliminal shots in lyrics, industry comparisons, but that rivalry slowly mutated into something darker, something deadly. Everything exploded after the night of November 6, 2020, a night that changed hip-hop forever. That's when King Von, born Davon Daquan Bennett, a 26-year-old Chicago rapper and close affiliate of Lil Durk's Only the Family collective, was shot and killed outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The shooting involved members of Von's crew and Quando Rondo's camp, who was signed to none other than NBA YoungBoy. What started as a tense run-in became a fatal encounter that tore two rap empires apart. According to surveillance reports and witness statements, things moved fast. Around 2:55 a.m., Von and his people, including his manager Mark Blakely, left the Opium nightclub and pulled up at Monaco Lounge on Trinity Avenue SW. There, they crossed paths with Quando Rondo's entourage in the parking lot. Nobody expected what came next. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and by 3:20 a.m., the argument turned physical. Moments later, gunfire erupted. Shots rang out between 3:21 and 3:25 a.m., chaos unfolding in seconds. Witnesses said Von swung first. Either him or someone from his crew stepped toward Quando, and that's when Lul Tim, real name Timothy Leaks, allegedly pulled the trigger. Reports claim Von was hit 4 to 6 times during the exchange. The video footage that later surfaced online captured pure panic. People running, bodies dropping, and Von being dragged into a car as gunfire echoed through the lot. Atlanta police responded almost instantly. 2 off-duty APD officers working security nearby, along with 1 on-duty officer, rushed in and opened fire to stop the shooters. The scene was pure bedlam, sirens, screams, and smoke. By the time it was over, 3 victims had been rushed to hospitals by private vehicles, while 3 more remained at the scene critically injured. King Von was taken to Grady Memorial Hospital, fighting for his life, but the bullets had done too much damage. Between 4 and 5 a.m., he was pronounced dead.
Can't ask me. I don't think that this be doing bad. YoungBoy be doing like 75, 65.
Oh, that's great.
Another man, Mark Mayhem Blakely, 34, was also pronounced dead at the scene. Atlanta PD made it clear in their public statement on November 7, 2020, Von wasn't shot by police, shutting down the early rumors that spread like wildfire online. Meanwhile, Lul Tim was discovered at Grady Hospital being treated for a gunshot wound of his own. Police immediately placed him under arrest and charged him with felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Ballistics and surveillance later confirmed it. King Von was killed in the initial shootout, not by officers. Video evidence and multiple witnesses identified Timothy Lul Tim Leaks as the shooter, though his legal team claimed self-defense. The case became one of the most discussed and divisive moments in modern rap history. To Von's family and fans, it was murder. To YoungBoy's supporters, it was survival. And from that night forward, the Durk versus YoungBoy feud wasn't just about music, it was blood deep. What makes it even heavier is how symbolic that moment became. Von's death marked a turning point for the whole culture.
But I don't think my little young nieces and nephews feel the same. I think they ride with YoungBoy. That's me admitting I'm too old for this, whatever's happening.
Where diss tracks started feeling like death threats, and concerts became potential war zones. It was no longer 2 rappers trading bars. It was legacy, pride, and vengeance colliding head-on. And though YoungBoy later claimed he wanted peace, that fatal night in Atlanta still casts a long shadow over everything that's come since. The streets never forget, and neither do the fans. Every diss, every lyric, every smirk from either camp feels like reopening an old wound that still bleeds every time this beef gets mentioned. Self-defense claims said Von's crew started the whole mess. But the courtroom drama flipped the script in 2021, when a judge tossed the felony murder charge against Leaks, ruling there wasn't enough proof of malice. Self-defense won the day. Fast forward to October 2024, and Lil Durk got hit with federal charges accusing him of plotting a murder for hire against Quando Rondo as payback for King Von's death. A plot allegedly tied to a 2022 LA shooting that left Rondo's cousin dead. Durk and 5 alleged associates faced serious federal exposure, turning this into a legal nightmare that fed the streets and the headlines. That King Von shooting made the Durk YoungBoy war way messier, because Quando Rondo rolls close with NBA YoungBoy, creating a direct link between a deadly street shooting and the music beef. YoungBoy might not have been at the scene or directly involved, but his ties to Rondo sharpened the feud's edge, turning competitive rap beef into something that could spill over into real-world violence with deadly consequences. The diss track timeline turned nuclear in January 2022, when YoungBoy dropped a scorcher that name-checked King Von, going hard with lines like "I'm gonna kill you" and shading O-Block and Durk's circle. Durk didn't pause. He hit back on the gram with a photo of Von and the caption, "Don't claim it." "If you ain't do it, you still a coward." The streets watched every caption like it was a new round in a street fight. On February 22, 2022, Lil Durk unloaded "Aha High" from his joint 720 project as a direct answer to YoungBoy's heat, spitting bars about people acting like they liked what happened since his homie died, and even throwing shots at YoungBoy's ex, Janny Emile. That same day, YoungBoy clapped back immediately with "I Hate YoungBoy," a track that aimed right at Durk with lines calling him a coward and dragging India Royale into the mud, lyrics aimed at King Von, Gucci Mane, and Lil Baby too. The exchange turned streaming numbers into battle trophies and made each release feel like another round in a war. Social media turned the vibe into a full-time circus, with NBA YoungBoy turning Twitter into a battleground, blasting Durk, India Royale, and even DJ Academics, who'd covered the feud. Academics answered, calling it sad to see YoungBoy stoop to scoring units off personal attacks, saying he felt betrayed by an artist he once pushed. Public drama that kept fueling the story and kept eyeballs glued to every reply and retweet. Then things escalated beyond bars. YoungBoy's rhetoric got menacing at times, with lines like "I'll kill you" and "mind your little fat business," showing a volatility fans couldn't ignore. On May 12, 2023, the heat in his words made people worry this wasn't just promo hype, but real temper flares when disrespected. The language crossed lines that blurred promotion and threats, and the culture started to take notice, raising real safety questions for artists, crews, and fans alike. YoungBoy also flexed industry resentment when he spat lines from Richest Op, Part 2 that called out perceived alliances, and even dragged Drake into the middle after a FaceTime conversation. Claims that fanned the flames about who in the industry was backing who. Even 21 Savage weighed in on Academics' podcast, wondering aloud if artists would work with YoungBoy if they wanted to stay loyal to Durk. Proof. This beef had seeped into industry, politics and collab calculus, and was shaping who got studio time and who got shaded on playlists. This ain't just about diss records. This is rap beef bleeding into the streets and boardrooms alike, where verses, alliances, and legal cases stack into a dangerous legacy of retaliation and reputation that won't cool down anytime soon. When 21 Savage spoke on this feud, he broke down the ugly truth. "That's because everybody, you know why the thing is like that? It's sides, bro," he said, explaining how the rap game had split into two camps, NBA YoungBoy and Quando Rondo on one side, and Lil Durk with his allies on the other. Savage admitted the tension forced artists to make tough choices, because aligning with the wrong camp could mess up features, tours, or entire careers. A lot of rappers quietly stayed loyal to Durk, not only out of friendship but because of his deep industry connects, street credibility, and the tragic circumstances around King Von's death, which left many feeling like Durk deserved support more than his rival. But it wasn't just about street alliances. Personal lives got dragged in too. India Royale, Lil Durk's longtime partner since 2019, the same woman he publicly proposed to on stage, at a Chicago show in 2021, ended up in the crossfire when NBA YoungBoy dissed her directly on his track, "I Hate YoungBoy." He spit the bar. "He called me a coward, that's India, that be your woman," taking a public swipe at their relationship for the world to hear. Fans were stunned. YoungBoy had just made Durk's fiancée part of the battlefield. By May 2024, India Royale had enough and finally clapped back on Twitter, throwing subtle shade at YoungBoy over his messy love life. The tweet racked up thousands of likes in minutes and had fans arguing over whether she was defending her man or simply tired of being used for clout. Either way, her name became a recurring headline in one of rap's most explosive feuds, even though she'd tried to keep her distance from the madness. No matter how private she stayed, the culture kept pulling her back in. As of October 2025, the tension hadn't cooled at all. It was hotter than ever. The beef's impact stretched far beyond music. NBA YoungBoy's sold-out Chicago concert at the United Center got canceled because city officials feared real violence breaking out. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars lost in tickets, merch, and promo deals. Money straight down the drain. The cancellation proved this rivalry had grown too dangerous to ignore, forcing promoters, venues, and police to step in and weigh public safety against the bag. The hip-hop community had to face the fact that this wasn't just lyrical sparring anymore. It was real-world danger creeping into arenas. Then came the moment that poured gasoline on the fire. NBA YoungBoy brought Lil Tim on stage during his October 2025 Houston show. Yeah, that Lil Tim, the same man tied to King Von's killing back in 2020, who walked free after the self-defense ruling. YoungBoy performing diss tracks right beside him felt like a message aimed straight at Durk, Lil Baby, and the entire Chicago scene. The crowd went wild, but online it sparked outrage. For many fans, and especially Von's family, that moment felt like pure disrespect. Proof that YoungBoy wasn't interested in peace, only provocation. The move made headlines everywhere and reignited long-dormant pain. Supporters of Durk saw it as an unforgivable stunt, while YoungBoy's fans celebrated it as dominance and defiance. The streets buzzed again, and by late 2025, leaks of new YoungBoy tracks hinted at more subliminal shots. DJ Academics and No Jumper both reported the same thing. No truce, no talks, no reconciliation. The beef was still alive and breathing, costing money, safety, and sanity, but neither side was backing down. At this point, the feud had become something neither rapper could easily escape. The culture expected it to keep going. The fans, the blogs, even the numbers. Every time Durk or YoungBoy dropped a song, the internet treated it like a scoreboard for the ongoing war. Their album releases turned into proxy battles for dominance. Who would get more streams? Who would chart higher? Who truly had the streets behind them? Each rollout became a cultural event, every bar analyzed like a chess move. Industry insiders kept debating who had the culture locked. Media voices, YouTubers, and hip-hop journalists threw out predictions, comparing stats and momentum. But they all admitted one thing. This beef wasn't just about music anymore. It had transformed into a cultural phenomenon, a modern-day rivalry that blurred the line between art, ego, and survival. Even with careers, money, and lives on the line, neither side seemed willing to blink first. Too many people were watching, too many legacies tied up in the tension, and too many fans craving the next move. Both camps, Durk's OTF and YoungBoy's, never broke again, kept feeding the machine, knowing full well that every post, every leak, and every canceled concert only made the legend of their feud burn brighter. Speculation about label manipulation in the streaming era has become a whole conversation on its own, because when those first week numbers hit the blogs, they don't always tell the full story. Insiders have long whispered that record labels sometimes strategically buy units to inflate totals and make an artist look like they're dominating the charts. It's not always pure fan power, it's marketing muscle at play. These boosted stats help labels shape narratives of success, spark media buzz, and push casual listeners to jump on the hype train, creating a snowball effect that turns perception into profit. For NBA YoungBoy, first week numbers usually hover between 65,000 and 75,000 units, which might not be record-shattering compared to chart-topping megastars, but they represent consistency and loyalty at a level most artists dream about. The fact that he manages those figures while dropping multiple albums a year is wild. It proves his core fanbase is solid, locked in, and always ready to stream, download, and ride for him. From a label perspective, that's gold. Even if he's not doing 200K in a week, he's making money every quarter, feeding the algorithm, and keeping his name trending all year long. That non-stop output makes him one of the most bankable rappers of his generation. The divide between fans and critics really shows here. Younger listeners see YoungBoy as the rawest voice of their generation. Pain, paranoia, love, betrayal, all wrapped in a sound that feels brutally honest. Meanwhile, older heads sometimes just don't get it. They question his tone, his chaos, and his constant releases. But that's the thing. To his audience, he's real. They feel his struggles, his flaws, and his contradictions. They don't want polished perfection. They want authentic survival stories. That's where hip-hop's generational tension comes in. The culture's split between street code loyalty and industry flexibility. One side demands you stay true to your set, your block, your people. The other side rewards you for collaborating, adapting, and playing the game. That tug-of-war plays out every year between artists trying to keep their credibility while navigating billion-dollar music deals. Just look at the moment when rappers appeared on both Drake's Certified Lover Boy and Kanye West's Donda. Even though Drake and Ye were locked in their own rivalry, artists like Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, and Travis Scott made appearances on both projects. It showed that in the modern rap game, some beefs stay lyrical or ego-driven, safe enough to ignore for the sake of the bag. Unlike real street conflicts where violence makes neutrality impossible. But for Lil Durk, this isn't the kind of drama you can step around. His current federal charges are serious, deadly serious. Prosecutors claim he masterminded a murder-for-hire plot against Quando Rondo as revenge for King Von's death, leading to the killing of Rondo's cousin Xavier Robinson during a 2022 shooting at a Los Angeles gas station. The feds allege Durk offered a $50,000 bounty through members of his Only the Family (OTF) crew to make the hit happen. By October 2024, authorities swooped in hard. Durk and 5 OTF affiliates were arrested and indicted on conspiracy to commit murder for hire, use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and illegal firearm possession involving machine weapons. Durk's arrest made headlines everywhere, especially because of how it went down. He was allegedly detained at Opa-locka Airport in Florida on October 24, 2024, right before boarding a private jet to Italy. Prosecutors say that escape attempt proved he was a flight risk, and the judge agreed, no bond granted. Since then, Durk's been locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles, awaiting trial, with prosecutors calling him a danger to the community and a symbol of retaliation culture. As the case unfolded through 2025, the legal battle got messy. Multiple superseding indictments kept shifting the narrative. Some charges were added, others dropped. Prosecutors initially tried using Durk's lyrics as evidence, citing violent bars as proof of intent, but the defense successfully fought to remove those references. Then came the twist. Durk allegedly got caught inside jail with an Apple Watch that had cellular capabilities, which he supposedly tried to destroy when guards found it in August 2025. That violation gave prosecutors fresh ammo, painting him as defiant and uncooperative. By late 2025, the defense filed heavy motions claiming prosecutors misled the grand jury and overreached in connecting Durk to the LA shooting. They also demanded an anonymous jury after reports of intimidation surfaced, threatening calls like, "Free Durk or we gonna shoot it up," started flooding the courthouse. The feds didn't take that lightly. Marshals and court security ramped up protection measures around the judge and legal teams, saying the situation posed active risk of retaliation. With the trial scheduled for January 2026, both sides are gearing up for a legal showdown that could define Durk's legacy forever. If convicted on all counts, he's facing a possible life sentence, a tragic twist for someone who once rapped about leaving the streets behind. The story now sits at a crossroads between hip-hop and the law, where chart success, fan loyalty, and street pride collide with federal indictments and courtroom strategy. For all the glamour and power the rap game brings, this feud shows the other side, the price of keeping it real when real turns deadly, and the stage lights fade behind prison walls. Lil Durk's future now hangs in the balance. The stakes couldn't be higher. Facing potential life in prison without parole, and with prosecutors leaving the door open for a possible death penalty, depending on how charges are framed, Durk's federal case marks one of the most serious artist prosecutions in modern hip-hop history. What began as a musical rivalry and social media sparring match has spiraled into a federal criminal conspiracy involving interstate operations, firearms trafficking, and alleged murder-for-hire plots. It's the kind of escalation that proves how easily lyrical competition can bleed into deadly reality when pride, power, and money mix with the streets. This whole saga highlights the dangerous chain reaction born from disrespect. What starts as a diss bar or an IG caption can spiral into years of bloodshed, retaliation, and ruined lives. Artists who once moved millions with their words now risk losing everything: freedom, family, and legacy. Federal prosecutors are painting these cases not as rap beefs, but as organized crime, linking social media taunts, song lyrics, and even tour routes to criminal intent. The collateral damage goes far beyond courtrooms. Concert cancellations have cost hundreds of thousands in ticket refunds, lost merch, and scrapped sponsorships. Cities like Chicago, Houston, and Atlanta have tightened restrictions on where artists tied to beefs can even perform. Promoters are scared, insurance rates are skyrocketing, and venues refuse to host shows that might turn violent. Meanwhile, rappers across the industry are being forced to choose sides, risking alienation or retaliation depending on who they work with. Collaboration, once the lifeblood of hip-hop, is now another battlefield. The ripple effect runs deep. Every time violence erupts, families are shattered, communities mourn, and social media feeds feast. Critics say this feud stopped being entertainment a long time ago. It's now a cautionary tale about how easily art, ego, and internet culture can combine into something deadly. What was once just lyrical one-upmanship has turned into an ecosystem of real pain, where the line between performance and reality is almost invisible. Even the platforms themselves aren't innocent in all this. Media outlets, fan pages, and algorithms that reward clicks, outrage, and speculation have amplified the chaos. Some say they're profiting off pain, using every diss, rumor, and fake clip to keep engagement numbers climbing. Meanwhile, others argue artists bear the ultimate responsibility. They know what words can do, especially when millions are listening. But either way, this digital feedback loop keeps the feud alive, feeding off attention and controversy like fuel on fire. A perfect example? That fake girlfriend video. The clip that started it all. It's still floating around online as if it's real proof of NBA YoungBoy linking up with India Royale, when in reality it was nothing but a meme. As of October 22, 2025, no credible evidence has ever surfaced showing YoungBoy and India together after any concert. Yet the narrative refuses to die. The false rumor has been reposted thousands of times, even after being debunked. It's a prime illustration of how hip-hop's gossip economy thrives. Not on truth, but on vibes, speculation, and viral ambiguity. Even NBA YoungBoy's mother spoke out after the canceled Chicago concert, saying she fully understood why venue management pulled the plug. She admitted she worried about her son's safety, acknowledging that fans on both sides had taken the feud to extremes. For her, the fear wasn't about bad press. It was about real lives possibly being lost if opposing fan groups clashed in the same arena. When even a rapper's own mother backs a show cancellation, you know the situation's gotten too real. This entire chain of events exposes just how far removed the industry has drifted from the days when rap beef stayed on wax. The culture of spectacle has turned tragedy into traffic, with fans sharing rumors faster than facts, and platforms chasing views no matter who gets hurt. What once was commentary on the streets is now content for the algorithm. The future from here? Completely uncertain. 3 paths lie ahead. Continued escalation that could lead to more bodies and more indictments, a strategic de-escalation motivated by money and legal fear, or an uneasy Cold War where both sides avoid direct confrontation but keep firing subliminals online to maintain their dominance. None of them guarantee peace, and the feds are watching it all. Their deepening involvement in Durk's case makes it clear. Law enforcement no longer sees these feuds as harmless creative rivalries. They see them as criminal conspiracies with national reach, digital coordination, and real bloodshed attached. That shift could become a major turning point for hip-hop, signaling that the government is ready to treat rap beefs like organized crime rings if they cross the line from lyrics to life-or-death violence. Whether that brings deterrence or more paranoia remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure. The story of Lil Durk versus NBA YoungBoy has already gone far beyond music. It's become a mirror reflecting the darkest intersection of fame, street loyalty, and the internet's obsession with watching chaos unfold in real time. The tragic evolution of this feud into real-world violence stands as a brutal reminder that in today's culture, words truly have consequences. What starts as lyrical warfare can spiral into bloodshed, with social media acting like gasoline on a spark. The internet doesn't just amplify music, it amplifies conflict, magnifying egos and rivalries until they explode beyond control. The so-called entertainment value of rap beef too often leaves behind shattered lives, bodies on the ground, artists behind bars, and families grieving for years. Communities across the map are paying the price for drama that began in studios, group chats, and live streams. What used to be just music is now bleeding into real neighborhoods, creating ripple effects of fear, trauma, and mistrust. This case serves as a sobering wake-up call for the entire hip-hop world. If beef stays unchecked, it stops being culture and starts becoming chaos. Whether the community can create healthier outlets for competition, places where rivalries can push creativity instead of violence, remains an open question. But the answer will decide hip-hop's next chapter and how it's seen by the mainstream, the law, and millions of young fans watching and imitating their idols every day. At the heart of it all stand two men, Kentrell Deshaun Golden, known to the world as NBA YoungBoy, and Durk Derek Banks, better known as Lil Durk. Both products of pain, both survivors of the environments that shaped them, and both proof of how greatness can rise from struggle, but also how quickly it can be consumed by it. Born October 20th, 1999, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, YoungBoy came up in one of America's toughest cities, where violence, poverty, and pressure are part of daily life. His father was sentenced to 55 years in prison when he was just a kid, leaving his grandmother to raise him. Life hit him hard early. A childhood accident left him with a broken neck, and the brace he wore as a toddler left permanent scars on his forehead, a reminder of pain that never fully healed. By 16, he was already fighting real charges: robbery, theft, and more. Those early years behind bars would define him. Locked inside a juvenile detention center, he found his purpose: music. That was where Kentrell Gaulden turned into NBA YoungBoy, a name that soon carried weight far beyond Louisiana's streets. What separates YoungBoy from nearly everyone else in the game is his unmatched work ethic. The man doesn't just record. He floods the internet with music like it's oxygen. He's dropped multiple mixtapes and albums every year, sometimes back-to-back, refusing to let silence kill momentum. His voice, raw, emotional, and unpredictable, became an anthem for a generation that's angry, heartbroken, and desperate to be heard. Young listeners feel like he's living their pain out loud, giving them a voice when the world refuses to listen. Even while under house arrest from 2021 to 2023 fighting federal gun charges, YoungBoy didn't slow down. He turned his confinement into a creative factory, churning out videos, tapes, and messages straight from lockdown. That discipline kept him on top of the streaming charts and cemented his reputation as the voice of the broken. Despite feuds, bans, and controversies, he remains one of the most streamed artists in the world. His independence making him both unpredictable and untouchable. And then there's his army, the infamous Why Be Better fanbase. They dominate every comment section, every thread, and every debate, swarming social media to defend their idol. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. That loyal digital force helped build YoungBoy's empire, making him one of the few rappers whose numbers come not from radio, but from raw fan devotion. Across the country, in Chicago's South Side, another story was unfolding. Lil Durk, born October 19, 1992, came up in Inglewood, one of the roughest neighborhoods in America. Violence wasn't just background noise, it was everyday life. His father was sentenced to life in prison when Durk was just 7 months old, forcing him to grow up fast. Music wasn't just an escape, it was survival. As a teen, Durk used rap to process the chaos around him. He wasn't handed anything. He built his following one mixtape at a time, pushing his sound through Chicago's drill scene when that genre was rewriting the rules of hip-hop. His raw delivery, street-coded storytelling, and emotional vulnerability made him a voice for his generation of survivors. In 2013, Def Jam came calling, giving Durk his first big industry platform. But what made him stand out wasn't just his sound, it was his growth. Unlike YoungBoy, who floods the market, Durk moves with precision. Every drop feels calculated, personal, and emotionally loaded. He crafts projects like Confessionals, blending street pain with mainstream polish, giving fans both grit and melody. That balance helped him cross over without losing his roots, a rare feat in modern rap. Durk's rise wasn't instant. It was earned through loss, loyalty, and perseverance. Every tragedy, from fallen friends to industry betrayals, shaped his artistry. By the time he reached stardom, he wasn't just another drill rapper. He was a leader, a businessman, and a survivor trying to carry the weight of his city's scars. And yet, both artists, Durk and YoungBoy, stand as mirrors of a generation where success and struggle walk hand in hand. Their stories are proof that hip-hop can elevate you from nothing, but also swallow you whole if the past refuses to let go. Whether their paths ever find peace or keep clashing in cycles of violence, one thing is certain: their legacies have already defined this era of rap. Powerful, passionate, and permanently haunted by the streets that built them. Lil Durk's signature melodic auto-tune flow didn't just make him stand out, it reshaped the sound of an entire generation. His smooth yet emotional delivery became a blueprint for modern drill music, influencing artists from Chicago to London to New York. But beyond the sound, what truly sets Durk apart is his unshakable loyalty. Through fame, loss, and betrayal, he's always repped for the people who came up with him, especially King Von, his brother in everything but blood. Von wasn't just another artist under Durk's OTF banner. He was family, and his death in 2020 left a wound that never healed. Every lyric Durk dropped since then feels like both a tribute and a war cry for the ones who didn't make it out. Over the years, Durk managed to climb from the trenches to the charts, collaborating with giants like Drake on Laugh Now, Cry Later, and earning Grammy nominations while building a massive global fan base. Yet, despite all the awards and success, he's never fully escaped the pull of the streets that raised him. That's what makes him compelling and dangerous. His music bleeds authenticity. It's raw, lived-in pain wrapped in melody. documenting a reality that millions feel but few can articulate. But that same connection to his roots now threatens to drag him down, as his federal charges remind the world that loyalty in street culture can come with deadly consequences. Both Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy are two sides of the same coin, products of America's hardest environments, molded by pain and pressure, and driven by survival instincts sharper than any industry training. They turn trauma into art, struggle into success, and scars into soundtracks. But when those worlds collided, it wasn't just music that exploded. It was two entire realities clashing, each representing their city, their people, and their pain. What followed wasn't competition. It was catastrophe. Their story is more than a beef. It's a modern tragedy set to a beat, a reflection of how fame doesn't free you from the past, how loyalty can be both armor and anchor, and how art can mirror the chaos of life itself. Whether this rivalry ever finds closure or continues haunting the culture, one thing's for sure. Hip-hop will never forget the collision of Durk and YoungBoy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the other videos on screen, because the story behind this beef is just one piece of a much bigger picture shaking the entire rap game.